So today, Mortal Kombat 1 released, it came out, I downloaded it took me some time, but I put a few hours into the game so far, and today we're going to be discussing what's in the game, what's changed from the other ones, and what the gameplay is like, so let's discuss. So Mortal Kombat 1 is the sequel to all of the previous games. However, it's got a slight twist because it's kind of like a restart, a reinvention essentially of Mortal Kombat. The story mode is pretty interesting so far. I've not got far into it. Some of the features of the game have changed, so this is what we're going to discuss today. So let's start with story. The story as it plays out is essentially exactly after the previous game. The idea is that Lycan has reforged the universe essentially and has started time over again. This means that from the start of the game, you follow the journey of him bringing in the people that we know and love from the previous games in order to fight in the tournament that is Mortal Kombat. I will not go too much into the story itself, but it plays out pretty interestingly. Similar to the other games, it plays out like a story with cutscenes that then lead directly into fights. This is the way the game plays out with it, and there's not really any stops or pauses. What you'll find is that when you're playing the game, and if you want to stop playing the game, you kind of wait until a cutscene's finished, then you can just exit the game and carry on at another time. You do unlock items and cosmetic items as you go through the story, so it's definitely worth playing through for that as well as the story itself, obviously. And it seems like I was going to carry on talking about stories, but I'm not because I inflected weirdly. As for the gameplay, there is a new Cameo System, which allows you to select another fighter that will be there to back you up during the battle. If you've played any of the previous Mortal Kombat games, you'll be familiar with this feature from some of the towers and stuff and some of the challenges you go through in it, where you have the ability to press a button in order to bring another fighter in temporarily to make an attack for you. The way this works is there's a meter that essentially allows you to have 2 attacks and then it recharges. You can recharge this meter just by carrying on. It recharges over time, which means you don't have to wait for it to recharge before you can use a second attack. The Cameo System is also used in grapples. When you do a forward grapple towards an opponent, you will use the other character as part of that grapple. Your final blow also incorporates the other character, which allows you to team up with them for the final blow rather than do it on your own. And depending on who you're actually teamed up with, these final blows will change depending on that character. The Cameo System is definitely an interesting addition to the game. It's not something I use a lot personally, but it can help you out if you're in a tough spot or if you just need to get a little bit of extra damage on your opponent. Some fans of Mortal Kombat will be massively disappointed that the crypt has been removed from this game, so it's not in it at all, but they have put in a new mode called Invasion. Invasion is a mode that kind of plays out kind of like a story as well as also like a little board game in a way that you just select nodes to move to and then do certain challenges fighting certain enemies in order to progress through the story of that level. These seem to be seasonal based ones, which means you have a season 1 available. When a new season starts, it will reinvent a new one or a new one will come out. The current one is to do with Johnny Cage and it's in his house, so you can travel around his house through nodes in order to progress through, and I think it plays out okay. Though I personally missed the crypt mode, I think that was a massive addition to the game that made a big difference and gave you just more to do rather than just fighting. And essentially what they've done is put in this invasion mode, which is just more fighting. As usual, you have trainer modes and practice mode. Trainer mode has challenges that allows you to go through and earn more coins to unlock more things, and then there's the online game modes where you can obviously play online against other people, and then there's the fatalities, and obviously fatalities are a massive staple of the Mortal Kombat games. I found a lot of them are very easy to perform and they are pretty gory and they are pretty detailed, so they've added to that and made it more interesting. As is standard with all Mortal Kombat games, obviously they have the towers, and the towers play out the same sort of way. You go through defeating each opponent one after another, and then eventually you will unlock the story ending for that character, which is an interesting playthrough and gives you extra things to do. There is very limited customization in the game. You can choose different types of fatalities for each character, and you can change their colorways, and you can change some of the things to do with the way they dress and the clothing, so that is something that is in the game, but it's not as in-depth as previously seen. Another slight addition to add as well is the damage that is done to other characters when you're fighting. One thing I noticed when I was fighting against Johnny Cage was that when I started kicking him in the face too many times, he started to get blood on his face and get actual physical damage showing, which is a new addition to the game, which is very interesting, and it kind of adds to the fact that you are actually fighting your opponent, as before it just seemed like people weren't getting hurt. All in all, I think that Mortal Kombat 1 is a good addition to the Mortal Kombat series, though I think that some things they've removed kind of are hit and miss depending on how much of a fan you are of Mortal Kombat and how long you've been playing it for. But if you love Mortal Kombat and you love fighting games in general, I definitely recommend Mortal Kombat 1. It is an awesome game, it plays really well, and it's fun. And that brings us to the end of my video. So please get down in the comments below. Comment, give me your opinion, what you think of the game, whether you like it. Hit that subscribe button. Make sure you hit the like button as well. Hit the notification bell to keep updated with my new videos when they come out. Thank you. I've been greenlycan, and I will see you in the next one.